Thank you everyone for tuning into another episode of the Bearded IT Dad. Today, we're going to be talking about the life of an IT analyst. We have a special guest on the show, and he is actually brand new to be an IT analyst. He's only 3 weeks into the job, and he's going to give his story and background about what his day is like. Coming up after this. Hello, everyone, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Bearded IT Dad. Today, we have a very special guest, Santiago, who is a brand new IT analyst. Who is a brand new IT analyst. Welcome on the show.
Hey, how's it going, Dakota?
It's going good. So, you just got a job about 3 weeks ago? You said, or 3 months?
Three weeks ago, just this will be my third week,
Awesome.
actually.
So, brand new into the job as an IT analyst. What do you think of it so far?
So far it's amazing. It's amazing because I am coming from an MSP world. So right now everything has been just yeah, everything's been pretty fantastic, I would say.
Awesome. Um, and I kind of want to dive right on into what you do on a day-to-day basis. And I know you're kind of new,
Right.
but if you can kind of give the viewers kind of an idea of what your day looks like, that'd be great.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, let's do it. So pretty much right now, I would say that I'm still in training mode. I'm probably going to be in training for the next 3 months, and that requires they just want you to make sure that you understand the service desk completely. So that's why 3 months is the span of that. But besides that, which is one of the main parts, besides that, I'm already diving into resolving user issues. So apart from besides basic the standard trainings that we have and figuring out the workflow and where to find information and where's the knowledge base and where to find who to contact. Besides all that, I'm already helping out staff with all the technical issues. So last week actually I was doing a lot of conference room troubleshooting. So I went we could talk about like basic troubleshooting. I had to fix someone's monitor to switching out their power cables to actually recovering some projects that someone was requesting or migrating data from one drive to the server. So within 2 weeks already. I would say that I'm already right in it. It pretty much didn't skip a beat.
Awesome. I mean, I kind of love those kind of opportunities where you're just kind of thrown to the fire in a sense, but you really get a learn of the landscape. I feel quick by just kind of going in and getting your hands dirty. You know, and I don't know how since you're so new, if they kind of talk to you what your job responsibilities will be over time. Are you going to be offering more support to customers, or are you going to be offering, doing some analytics, or what is that going to be looking like?
So right now, the way that the company is growing and the way that they're structured, I am I am the only IT tech on site in their LA office. So for me, I'll just pretty much be doing internal IT for all the staff members within the office, within the office. And obviously we'll have some rotations across California and all that, but besides that, it's pretty much supporting in whatever the staff needs in-house.
Awesome. I'm curious. What are some of your favorite things about the IT field? Like, what makes you kind of get up in the morning and look forward to going to work?
Yeah, that's actually a good one. I mean, I think the main one is the interesting one of like the fulfillment that I get from resolving an issue. I think that's like the greatest reward that I could get, and it's one of those things because it requires being resourceful, being creative, and just being able to resolve something for someone that's having that issue. And maybe they're not so tech savvy, and that's why we're in this, apart from it, right? So, as you mentioned, I mean, I remember reading about this is the IT tech is technical, but you also need customer service skills. You need people skills and being the person to that people come to you to help them out. I mean, that's one of the greatest rewards to to give. I mean, to feel, I mean, to receive and to also give at the same time.
Uh,
And also, oh, sorry, go
oh
ahead.
no, go ahead.
No, I wanted to add on too, just when you had mentioned about being thrown into the fire, and honestly, it does take, the first couple times, yeah, it could be really stressful, but it's crazy how that's how we really learn, and sometimes it's just on the fly, things come to mind, and you figure something out, and that you surprise yourself, and I think that just happened to me last week. I got thrown into this conference room. I never, I must say, I never touched this technology. It was a trio conference room. Never seen it before, but just spend like 10, 15 minutes trying to troubleshoot it. And they were having a meeting while I'm doing this, and I ended up figuring it out, and it worked. And I left, and I left outside the conference room, and I kind of just screamed in my office. I was like, "Yes, yes, I can't believe I figured it out." And I think that's what, that's the excitement, right? That's the adrenaline rush that kind of keeps you going forward in a weird way. Right.
That's awesome. And that's one thing that really does it for me. I get so excited about helping people, and really I really enjoy troubleshooting and trying to figure out how everything works and the ins and outs of different products. And oh, all of a sudden we have this big issue that I to be honest with you, I have no clue on how to resolve. And
Right.
the adrenaline rush of, okay, I'm able to figure it out and see it through and see the results of being able to fix it. I had one of those today, just like you, where we had some service not running properly, and I had no clue why all of a sudden just stopped working. Everything looked fine, and it was just something simple, and I just kind of got that afterwards, that sigh of relief. I'm like, yes, I was able to fix it. I was able to figure it out. So it was so great, and I just really enjoy that.
Yeah, and I think another thing to that point is that being in technology, it's almost endless, right? There's no end point to all this. This is going to be endless, find information, finding ways to figure things out. So I think that's what kind of, that's the, I guess, like, it's great to have it's great to have that space, or for us to be in this area where things are in a way endless, and we could just keep going and going and going. Um, and yeah, and keep figuring things out
Ab-
along the way.
Absolutely. So if you don't mind, kind of tell us a little bit of your backstory. Where did you get your start in IT? What led you to be in the career field, and what was that very first position in the field you got?
Yeah, I think this is actually, that's a good question, because it's been, I would say, the past 3 years I did a shift to IT. But just similar like you, I think I remember reading that you in high school. And one day in high school, I just got into computers. I was in 10th or 11th grade. I got into computers, started building my computers, started playing video games, and I just became the person for friends and family to like figure out small things, right? And then, and senior year, I remember they had offered the CCNA class, so I started taking the computer classes, and I'm like, this is what I want to do. I want to get into computers. And then shortly after, I mean, life gets in the way, things happen. I ended up joining the military, and that completely shifted my just my path, I would say. I ended up being a Navy medic, so that was nothing related to IT at all. Was I still interested? Was I still playing with computers? No, I wasn't. I completely just took on this path, and I just went straight forward for 5 years being in the military. So the time passed, I get out. I still have kind of, not exactly what I want to do. Still kind of figuring things out on my own. And I'm like, you know what? I'll just get into hospitality, because at that time I was doing Airbnb, and I did it for 2 years, and it was helping me out to pay rent. And it was working out for me. You know, I was getting money. Our place was getting booked, and I'm like, you know what? I think this is what I want to do. I'm gonna go to school for hospitality. So then I start going to school for hospitality, and I get out the military. I went from being a coach, from a coach to, I got hit up. I got connected. a friend contacted me. He's like, "Hey, I'm starting a company. It's gonna be a food and tech startup company." And he goes, "I want you to come on, and I want you to help out to bring this company forward and kind of get it from the ground up." And I was like, "Sure, um, let's get right in it. I'm open to anything right now." And during that time, within the first year, it's a startup, so it's a lot of playing, like they say, like wearing many hats. But after a year and a half, interesting enough, I ended up being the I ended up being the they have printers. They had a lot of printers, like around 60 printers, and they're an event company and they print faces on cookies and all these things. So after a year and a half, I ended up being the go-to guy to troubleshoot their printers. Right. So out of now from the company that started from 3 people, now we're 7 people, now we're 10 people, now we grew, now we're across the states. So now I ended up being the tech support for that company, and it just clicked. One day it clicked. I'm like, "Wait, this is what I'm good at. I enjoy doing this. I enjoy troubleshooting hours and hours of equipment. This is my thing, and I just had a light bulb kind of just spark up, and I was like, "All right, this is it." I completely switched my major from hospitality to IT. Um and I just went full force. I went full force. I got into the IT the IS program in school, and I mean, also you could jump in and ask me. I'm gonna just keep keep going and talking.
Oh no, it's
Uh,
all good. Continue.
so so yeah, so I got into the IS program. Did a complete career switch, and I just felt confident enough to do it because I proved to myself in that company that, hey, this is what I'm good at. Maybe it is simple printers, not it's not simple printer stuff, but it's just one device. I'm only handling printers and a couple computers. It wasn't like I'm handling a big corporation or a big company, or I was doing very basic troubleshooting, but I felt very fulfilled by that, like as we spoke earlier. And yeah, so I went full force. I started My dad had told me about this company, Field Nation, and I forget the other one that was around. They actually closed, and which is like a freelancing tech jobs that you could kind of pick up on the fly. And I started doing that here and there. I ended up doing a couple jobs, nothing major, just I had to do like a password reset. I remember that first day I got selected for that job because you have to apply for jobs, and and they eventually pick you. If they don't, it's fine. You keep applying. And I had a couple printer troubleshooting jobs because I'm like, all right, this is what I'm good at. And I also had like a password reset, and I remember those days. I was stressing out. I was like sweating just going into the office. This is all new to me, but I did it. I just had to do it, and like we were talking to just today, like how you figure something else, so you figure something out that you didn't really know, and the same thing. I went into this printers because they gave you the model and everything beforehand, and I looked them up and I read the manual like the day couple days before, and I just went through it and went through it and went through it just so I know that I know what I'm getting into. So and after that, I remember going for the Google IT certificate. I ended up getting it for free, and because you go apply as a student and get credit for it. And it took me 6 months, and that gave me a little bit more confidence, right? And it's one of those things of just perseverance, just keep on going, and COVID hit, ended up knocking me out from that startup company, and halfway into it I ended up getting hired at a MSP job.
So really quick, you
Yeah.
just mentioned the MSP. Um, what was it like working for an MSP? What did you do on a day-to-day basis? I think many people see working for an MSP as a great way to get into the IT field because they seem like they're always hiring. You kind of share some of your story, what it was like working for an MSP.
Yeah, of course. And like I could go two ways into this, right? There's two ways to this story, to MSP. And I think to be honest, there's obviously a good side, and there's definitely I would say not the brightest, not the brightest side of the tech world. And the MSP, it gave me that chance, right? They were hiring for a level entry job, and they did give me that opportunity, and that's something that I can't take away at all from till this day. As much as what I felt during that time, or what people could say and what you find online about MSPs, it's not a it's a rough it's a some jobs. I'm not gonna say every place because I can't speak for every place, but what you hear online is true. There's some rough places. There are some rough places. Yeah.
So, if you had to do it again, would you go back to work for another MSP?
That's an interesting question. It's one of those things. Is like I don't. It's not like I regret being in it, because the thing is, one thing about MSP is that you get thrown into the fire. You really get thrown into the fire day to day. You really grind your teeth day to day. You touch so much technology, and especially in the MSP that I was involved with, there were 7 techs, so it's a relatively small company. So I was doing, besides help desk, I was doing sales calls. I was finishing sales. I was closing deals. I was setting up networks, right, for that client. I was doing client relations, right? So you get involved into this a spectrum of each area that tech covers, from sales to helps to IT support. And some of the stuff that I worked with was kind of bootstrap. You got to find a creative ways, manual ways of doing it, just because of budget constraints, just because of the clients. So it is not this whole shiny, amazing place to work at, but at the same time, the things that you learn, the technology that you touch, the creative ways that you start thinking on your feet, I can't take that away. I can't really take that away, Dakota. That's so it's like, would I go MSP? I would try to go MSP if I were to find a good, I wasn't good, but a great MSP company that is able to cultivate a healthy culture.
The unicorn of MSPs out there is what you're saying.
If there is one.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. I'm not saying there isn't, but if there is one, I will take MSP. I will take it for a little bit, but it's not, I would say personally, it's not an easy peasy, just kind of skate your way into it. No, you really have to. It's good though. I think it's good though.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't take that away from my learning experience.
Absolutely. And I'd almost say, you could view it as a rite of passage. I think in some expert, it's very similar kind of to the help desk. I think a lot of people. I get this question a lot. People ask me, "Hey, is there any way I can skip the help desk and just jump into like a network engineer job?" Yeah, it's possible, but it's going to be
Sure. Yep.
difficult. It's going to be very difficult. So I think almost everyone has to do that time on the help desk, that like 1 year on the help desk to be able to get their foot in the water. And I think for some people, MSP might be that option. So
And you're right. And I think looking back, I would say that I would go MSP, but I would go MSP no more than a year if I can. And that's
yeah,
exactly what I did. And it just happened. I got lucky that I left the company within 1 year. I mean, after 1 year, exactly, almost. But you're right. You're right. I think it's a place to learn a lot.
yeah,
You
and
know,
for some people, it might be the best thing ever. They might fit and they might enjoy the lifestyle, but it's not for everyone.
yeah, and that is true. That is true, and that's why I say I can't take away from other MSPs, and that's just my personal experience. There's definitely some good parts, and there were some bad parts, and that's the honest truth. And just to add on to this, once again, when I say that I can't take away from that experience, there's so many times that I catch myself doing things, even what happened last week, and that's just coming from the MSP mindset, you know. And now I could appreciate, I guess, the company that I'm at, just the way they do things. It's a little bit more structured. There's time, there's breathing room, and I could see the difference. And and you're right, it is a rite of passage, but like, yeah, you don't have to really. It's shed tears and blood to get into it, but it's a definitely a learning experience, and it's something definitely that's going to help you without a doubt, I
A-
think.
Absolutely. Well, while we're all talking doom and gloom, I kind of want to talk about the darker side of IT that I think a lot of people don't kind of talk about. Um, is there any like certain things, and it could be in past jobs or current, whatever, that like you really kind of dreaded, I feel, a lot of times, and not to say anything bad, but I feel a lot of times some of these YouTube channels kind of make everything rainbows and butterflies. And but and for the most part it is, if you're really passionate about it. But there's things that aren't so great. Do you want to talk about any of those or share anything?
Yeah, yeah, of course. So I think, I mean, as you mentioned, there are plenty of videos and YouTube videos and information you find online. It's like, make X amount of money. Tech world is where it's at. Join it. And it's true. There is possibilities for that. The dark side of it, I think that especially coming from my experience in the help desk area, is something that I not that I struggle with, but it's something I noticed. It could be a little disheartening in a way that some users just don't respect you, right? They just call you, "Hey, this is broken, fix it." And you're like, "All right, I am doing well. How are you?" It's so that after a while could be a little cold. It's not to say that that's every user or every person, but it does happen. I did experience that quite, here and there with being at the call center at the help desk. So after a while, you just have to kind of know how to, process that, and don't let that affect you, because that's not the core of the job, essentially, right? And and I just could say that I'm fortunate enough, knowing that there's a difference to that, where the company that I'm working at, the team members and the staff do appreciate the techs, right? And that's actually quite nice, right? It's a little warming, and it's like, okay, you're welcome, and they appreciate your time, and they appreciate you being there, instead of you just being a person that clicks and fixes and turns off fires, and fixes, turns on and off like that, like robots or something. I don't know. But
Yeah.
the other, the, I don't know. I don't know if it's so much of a dark side, but there is an interesting thing that happens with level entry jobs. Just maybe it could be for MSPs or just in general. Another side, it's like you're saying, it's low paying, it's tough, maybe no benefits at all, and that is something that you either have to kind of take it in. I mean,
Yeah.
and that's it sucks in the sense that, we the companies create that culture, and then we as we as techs trying to look for a job, it's hard for us to break in, so we're just going to take whatever we can, and then we make that acceptance of that it's okay for this job to do this.
Yeah.
And that's something that I struggled with at the previous company that I was at, because it was the culture, right? Culture is a big thing because it's your day to day. So,
Yeah,
and
and I can attest and relate to that. And I've told this story on the channel many times. Prior to entering the IT field, I was a bulldozer operator, and I made really good money as a bulldozer operator. I made like nearly like 70 grand a year, just to sit in a air conditioned or heated cab all day, moving levers. I mean, talk about a life.
that's not bad. Yeah,
No, but it made me miserable. I was
right.
bored out of my mind. Like my mind just I was always thinking type of thing. It never shuts down. And you know, I had to take a over 20,000 a year pay cut when I entered the IT field. Which was it really it was really difficult for my family. But my family
Yeah.
supported me and they wanted me to be happy and really supported my journey through here. And now I'm making more than I was, ever actually ever in my working career. I'm making more now. But I had, I knew if I was determined and worked hard, you know, it would come. And actually, I think I was extremely fortunate. For me, it happened in a 3-year time period where I went from my entry level job to a director position. So,
Oh wow.
yeah, I was quite fortunate. But
Nice.
the only reason I say that is to hopefully motivate some people. It doesn't happen that fast for everyone, but it is possible. If depending on how much you want it, there's several people that entered the help desk and are quite happy with there. We were doing a stream. It was two weeks ago, where someone was asking, hey, is it bad that I don't want to leave the help desk? That I'm happy where I'm at, and I want to work the help desk forever. And absolutely not. Do what makes you happy. That's, the means justifies the end. If I think that's the right analogy. But
Right.
why work at something that makes you miserable? You only have so much time on this planet, and that's why I'm in IT. That's why I'm doing what I do, is because it makes me happy and I enjoy it. And plus it helps put a roof over my family's head and pays the bills. So
Of course, of course. Yeah, and yeah, I mean, and not to say what exactly what you're saying. It's not to say that, oh, help desk is bad or it's ugly. Oh, MSP, it's bad, it's ugly. Hey, if you find a company and that makes you, it's a great place to work. You're happy. That's amazing.
yeah.
Keep at it. There's no wrong in that. But like what you're saying, if you're not happy in a place, then maybe you should look elsewhere, or you know like you said, you have to kind of work hard for this at the same time. It's not gonna come to you.
a-
Yeah.
Absolutely. So if you were to give anyone advice that's looking to become an IT analyst, what would it be? What would be that piece of advice, like someone who's looking to break into your position? What advice do you have for them?
Yeah, that's a good one too. I think is exactly what we just finished talking about. I think hey, look, the tech skills will come, right? I believe that companies, I mean, there are some companies, but I believe most companies, or I shouldn't say that, but that companies look for also personality and character, right? Because if you just have that mindset already, if you're into tech, you're gonna learn it. We could learn. There's so much information. You could search it. There's manuals. You could ask. You have channels like these. And there's a lot of resources out there, so that could come. People skills, yeah, that could also come. You could learn it as well as you go. You make mistakes. I'm still making mistakes on how to talk to people. That's fine. But I think the main advice I would say is exactly what you just said, Dakota, is work hard, persevere, endure. Yet endurance. Through everything. And I think if it gets difficult, just keep at it, keep at it, and keep at it. You're not alone. We've all gone through it. We're still going through it, and it's still to the day we end, we get out of this earth, we're still gonna be working hard and hard day to day. And I believe, and just know that you're not alone. We're all here together.
Absolutely. And I really appreciate it. And I really appreciate you taking the time to come on here and talk to everyone. Um, if people want to reach out and ask you more questions, do you have a social media you want to share, or?
Yeah, of course. I could be reached at in LinkedIn. I'm not big on Instagram or I don't know, Facebook, but I am pretty active on LinkedIn, and you
Yeah.
could just find me by my name, Santiago Lozano, I think, or you could post a link up.
Yeah. I'll
Uh,
drop a link in the description of this video if you guys are interested in talking more to Santiago about his journey or his current career position, or if you have questions about working for an MSP, because you
yeah,
sound like you've been there and done it all.
exactly. Yeah, feel free to reach out. I'm always open to talking to people and just same interest and everything. So yeah, do not hesitate.
Awesome. Well, thank you everyone again for tuning in. I really hope this interview was informative for you. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments, and either myself or Santiago will get back to you with anything you have. Did you have anything else you wanted to add there?
No, that's it. I mean, thank you, Dakota. Thank you for. I mean, this is amazing, and once again, this is the resources that we need. You're out here talking and promoting this and giving exposure to people that hey, it could be done. and in real life experiences. So I appreciate you. I appreciate everything that you've done as well, man.
Absolutely. Well, again, thank you. And everyone out there, I hope you found this informative. Thank you guys for thank you guys for watching.